It, whew. It is another amazing day in paradise. I am feeling a little crazy right now. I'm totally excited. And I am trying to broadcast on there we go, on three different social media platforms at the same time, not using technology. I actually have three different devices that I'm recording on. So I hope you will bear with me. I am going to move things around just a little bit to see if we can get better access, this is kind of interesting. I'm kind of like, this is interesting. I'm having a great time. Anyway, I had an interesting exchange with God this morning. And um, when our conversation was done, what came out of our conversation is, what would happen if racism didn't exist? What if racism doesn't exist? It's not like I'm tangible. This pen is tangible. This notebook is tangible. How is it that some people live in this world and they experience life without racism? And how is it that some people live and experience it all the time? And so the first thing I did, I wanted to look up the the definition of the word technically. Like, racism is a belief or doctrine. This is their main definition: that inherent difference among the human racial groups determine cultural or individual achievement, usually involving the idea that one's own race is superior and has the right to dominate others, or that a particular racial group is inferior to others. And so this is a mindset. That's what kind of came out of it, that racism is a mindset. It's not a tangible thing, right? And in no way or means am I saying that racism doesn't exist. That is not what I'm saying. I'm inviting the question. I want us to be curious about what would happen if it didn't exist. Because I realize that this is the purpose of why I want to become a parent coach. Because I had an experience, I've had several experiences this week. One of them was I was watching a story from on Instagram from one of my college roommates when I went to BYU Hawaii. And she was talking about how she had had an opportunity to spend time with her birth son. And I was like, when I watched it, I was like, I was shocked. She's married, she has 3 or 4 children, and da 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 da. And all of a sudden, I'm finding out for the first time that she has a 17-year-old child. And I sent her that she had placed for adoption. And we slept in the same room. This wasn't like just a college roommate where we shared the apartment. We shared the same bedroom. And when I wrote to her, I just said, "Wow, you're so brave." And she thanked me, and she said it took her 17 years to do it. And I was like, wow, it's still amazed. And I was reveling in that. And then yesterday I had this experience where I was calling these churches because my son and I are unhoused right now without stable income coming in. And I was calling to see if there are any churches that could help. And I wasn't just asking for help. I was asking if I could barter a parent coaching seminar or a parent coaching class, or have someone in their congregation go through the whole 12-week parent coaching course, the transformational parenting course. And I got nowhere. Nobody was interested. I called probably 30 or 40 places. And I got a return phone call last night, which around 7, which was later than I was anticipating. And at the end of the conversation, what I had been told by the receptionist at this particular church didn't transpire with this particular pastor. Now, I don't mind. I'm grateful that they took the time to call me, by all means. But from what I said to her and then what she was requiring of me, I didn't feel comfortable with. It wasn't anything difficult or anything like that, but I just felt like, wow, like, you don't understand the responsibility that you have bearing the title of pastor. Like, when I look at pastors, and I would think, my thought is like, what would Jesus do? Right? Because of all the people who's going to do like Jesus did, then, right, they should. And so I just sat with that. And I got up. This is part of my conversation with God this morning. And when all was said and done, I was like, keep it moving. I didn't have time for that. I have too much going on. I have other things that I want to do. And I'm not going to get stuck in that position. Um, and with that, that's kind of like how it came to be, this conversation about what if racism didn't exist and how that relates to parent coaching and how it relates to my college roommate being brave and how it relates to what this pastor said to me and was requiring of me. And I sat and thought, I sat and excuse me. I sat and had this very strong impression from God that he was saying, you are brave. You don't give yourself enough credit for all you've been through. One of the biggest challenges that I've had is not about how I see myself or my situation. It's just about how other people will judge it. I must not be doing something right. And then they're looking at my son and how he's acting like a normal 6-year-old who hasn't been traumatically parented. And he's disrespectful and he doesn't listen and all this other stuff. And my son is brilliant. And I just had this experience like, thank you, Heavenly Father. This wasn't about, there's so many things about building community and stuff like that. And I, at the end of the day, just realized that my community is God. And as long as I'm doing what he wants me to do, then that's what's most important. And I'm grateful that he takes the time to validate me and remind me of what's important. There's a quote by Les Brown, and it says, if you want, I can quote part of it, but I'm going to make sure that I have my notes so I can get it right, because this quote is important to me. It says, if you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, if all that you dream and scheme is about it and life seems useless and worthless without it, and if you gladly sweat for it, fret for it, and plan for it, and lose all terror of the opposition for it, if you simply go after that thing that you want with all your capacity, strength and sagacity, faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity, neither cold, poverty, famished, and gaunt, sickness or pain of body and brain can keep you away from a thing that you want. If dogged and grim you beseech and beset it, with the help of God, you'll get it. And if that hasn't been our story, there's nothing else that I could say could be. That is the story that me and my son have gone through. That's why we are in this living situation we are in now. That is why I have completed the initial 6-month training of with Jai Institute for Parenting as a parent coach. And all I have is my business courses to take, 4 weeks of business courses to take, because I'm going after that thing that I want. And the thing that I want most, besides a home for Wisdom and I, is healing for the community that I come from, for the world, really, but most especially because we are the ones that are daunted by racism. We are the ones that are daunted with this sense, not that just that people from other cultures feel that they are superior, but that they feel that we're inferior. And I highly disagree with that. I highly disagree with that. But I had this and part of this conversation that I had with God this morning. He said, this was my epiphany. He said to me, if we can admit, this is what for me to consider. He said, I was told, my thought process is, excuse me, I'm mixing that up, but this is what came to my mind. It said, if we can admit that we are the cause of our problems, we can create and implement solutions to our problems. We give away our power to others when we blame them, because now we've got to wait for them to change in order for our lives to change. That was powerful to me. I don't have to give anyone away my power because of how they believe, because I can sit in what I believe about myself, about what I know, that I'm brave, that I'm doing things that other people wouldn't dare to do. I'm not special. My son and I are not special. We are among at least 500,000 people in the world, or at least in America. I'm not going to talk about the world, who are living in poverty. But we are special because we are different because we chose to follow God and to listen to him and not take this journey personally and come out on the other side believing that after after I've done the work to excavate and move from poverty to prosperity internally, that now it's time to break our financial fast and move from poverty to prosperity externally. And that's what I'm calling it. I'm not saying that we've been living in poverty. We have just been on a financial fast where we haven't had the money that we've needed all the time. Fasting is a temporary break, right? We've had money come in here and there, but it's temporary. So we are in the process of breaking our fast, and I am inviting you to help us. We are here to change the world. And I'm going to tell you about that too, because Steve Jobs, founder of Apple, he said, here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules. Yeah. And they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. But the one thing you can't do is ignore them because they change things. They push the human race forward. And while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. I'm brilliant. I already know that. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. And let me tell you, when I was pregnant with my son, when I was thinking of names for him, God told me his name was going to be Wisdom. When I was walking through the hotel that me and his father were staying in at that time, I remember walking through the lobby and the TV was on, and I was seeing these images of all these young Black men who had been killed by the police. And I thought, my son is going to change the world because he's not going to go through that. We're going to change the dynamics for people so that parents don't have to go through that. They're not going to have those conversations. Things are going to change, and I'm determined to make them happen. They are going to change. So if y'all would be willing to support me in this, I would greatly appreciate it. If you go to the links in the description of this video, what you will find is the first step. Like the next steps that we're going to take is our preliminary plan to grow this business. And the name of the business is L.U.V Enterprises. L.U.V is an acronym that stands for Learn Your Value. And our motto is building the village, raising the child. We got to do a different job raising our children better. We have to come from the perspective that what if racism doesn't exist? Then we are responsible for what's happening. We are responsible for how our children feel about themselves. We are responsible for how we're letting other people treat us. If somebody's treating us the way we don't want to be treated, then we don't have to deal with them. We need to realize that our power lies in us having the ability and the choice to do something different, to choose something different. And that's what I'm standing on. That's what I'm believing, that we have the power to create change for ourselves because we ourselves believe that we are the source of our challenges. And therefore, not only are we the source of our problems, we are also the source of our solutions. Right? I say the same thing about parenting. Parenting is the problem, but parenting is also the solution. It resonates within each one of us that we each are the cause of our problems and we each are the solution to our problems. Now, if you're dealing with somebody else, you gotta work on how that acts. If they're mistreating you, then what can you do to move yourself out of that situation? We can't wait for other people to change, right? So we just got to change ourselves. We really do. And so I'm excited about this next adventure. We are on a mission to break our financial fast. Our goal is $5,000, $5K to help that poverty to go away. Not the poverty that we are experiencing any longer, but poverty for others. We're going to put people through parent coach training so that they can have an opportunity to experience themselves from a different perspective and see the beauty and the brilliance that God put in them. Not just like the brilliance of mind, but brilliance of spirit. Like each of you have a diamond mine within you, just waiting to be excavated. We're digging through the coal, which is still a valuable, but also kind of dangerous substance. We use it, but it's not the best. But that coal, when pressed and compressed, turns into a diamond. And so we want to give people an opportunity to have a different experience in this flicker of time that we have. Thank you, Mastermind. Stand for that one. Motivation Readers Mastermind Network. Check them out. But I don't want to make this go any longer. It's been 15 minutes just about. And I just want to say I love you. Thank you. I'm so excited for today, Wednesday, 7/27/2022. I hope you are enjoying creating your amazing day, and we are going out and we're going to enjoy ours. Thank you so much. Give me a chance to turn off all my phones and finish this broadcast. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Bye. Love you. Love you.